I even remember, it was not a long time ago, there was an open discussion about a Eurasian economic and commercial area. The former German Chancellor even spoke about a common commercial area starting from Lisbon, ending at Vladivostok, just a couple of years ago. And there was a very stable basis of the European economic growth. What was that? That was a combination of highly developed Western technologies and easily accessible, cheap energy sources from Russia. This was the basis. But currently, unfortunately, the situation is totally different. Common sense has been replaced by the approach of over-politicizing and over-ideologizing everything. And step by step, unfortunately, the European Union has isolated itself from the major players of global economy. And unfortunately, partly this phenomenon has been reflected in the so-called customs agreement between the United States and the European Union. This was the best deal ever for the United States and the worst deal of the century for the European Union. Many of us in the European Union had a secondary feeling of shame seeing Madame von der Leyen and her delegation sitting and clapping there for a trade agreement which ends up in customs to be paid by the European companies 6 times compared to before. Not plus 6%, 6 times. If I was an American citizen, I would definitely give standing ovation to the president. If something doesn't work 19 times, why would you try the 20th? What's your hope? And if you look at the sanctions policy, not politically, not ideologically, but practically, according to our analysis, those sanctions have made more harms to the European economy than to the Russian one. We have to come back to rationality. Instead of over-politicizing those purely physical things like energy supplies. Over-politicizing energy supplies undermines and sacrifices the security of energy supplies. And who is the victim if the energy supply is being undermined? It's the people. And there's no textbook of economic science which will tell you it makes sense to replace a cheap and reliable resource by a more expensive and less reliable one.